Right, John, you've decided to leave Kidderminster, sort of take a bit of a break to get yourself fit. What made you take that decision?
Just the injury situation really. I've not played this season competitively. Played 3 games in pre-season, and I've just had a lot of injuries with my right calf and right Achilles really, which have not settled down. I've trained occasionally, but the next day it just flares up again. So it's I think the manager at Kidderminster, Steve Burr, he could see my frustration coming in each day and not being able to do anything, and he just called me in the office and we had a little chat, and you know, we thought it best for both parties to sort of have a break from the game and you know, me come away from it totally and have a complete rest from football, and the club can also save some money as well.
Yeah, so you're going to be doing rehab on your own now, just to see how fit you can get and see whether everything holds up. Yeah,
Gavin, the physio at Kidderminster's given me a programme for my Achilles, and yeah, I'm just doing that at home really. I must admit, since I left Kidderminster, I've done very little in terms of fitness, but I just wanted a break. Keep doing the heel drops and things like that for the Achilles, and who knows, in a month or two, hopefully I can start training again, and you know, hopefully I can get fit enough to play at some level again.
Yeah, it must be so frustrating because you had the foot injury which kept you out for a long time at Cheltenham. You worked so hard to get back from that, and now other things have started to go wrong. I mean, do you think it's just your body sort of telling you that it's
I think so, yeah. I mean, the type of player that I've been, and the sort of energy and the amount of running that you need to do in my position in the modern game is, I think it just took its toll, to be honest, after all the years of training and playing matches, and my body's just not standing up to it anymore. So I think I've been sort of delaying the inevitable now for a little while, and I think it's nice for me just to come out of it, to be honest, and the pressure's all gone. I don't need to get fit, and I can just relax and look towards other things.
Does a part of you still want to play at a good standard of football, or are you just happy to look for other employment now? And I mean, what do you think you could return to full-time football?
It's a long shot, I think, but in an ideal world I'd still be playing now. I still believe if it wasn't for the injuries I could go on till my late 30s, but that's one of those things, and but now I'm probably going to take a break, and I'm just going to look for full-time employment, whether that's within football or out of football. Quite open to what I do next, and I'm just going to go from there really. And you know, like I said, in a month or two, if I do get fit enough, I might go and train with a part-time club and see if we can get fit that way, and see if I can offer a part-time club, within the area, a few games or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, things didn't work out how you'd like at Kidderminster in terms of on the pitch, but it was your first taste of coaching and supporting the manager and also caretaker manager. How did you find the sort of off the pitch coaching?
I loved it, particularly last year when Mark and Neil left to go to Cheltenham. I was sort of thrown in at the deep end as caretaker manager, but I absolutely loved it, to be honest. Bit nervous about it and apprehensive to start with, but got advice from a few ex-managers and coaches of mine, you know, particularly John Ward and Keith Downing, and I just really enjoyed it. I had a lot of help up there from the players. The players were great, and then when Steve Burr came in, we had a great run, and I was his assistant until the end of the season, and we played some really good football. I really enjoyed that side of it, and it gave me a taste for it, because I think until you get thrown into that position, you never really know whether it's for you or whether you want to do that, but I certainly wouldn't rule it out again in the future.
Yeah, you've done that at Kidderminster. You've worked at Cheltenham with Cheltenham Centre of Excellence with one of the youth teams there. Is management something, is it something you've got a burning desire to do, or are you still a bit undecided about it?
A little bit undecided. Like I say, I'm open-minded about what I do next. If an opportunity came up, I'd definitely look at it, because probably more the management side of things than the coaching side I enjoyed, I think. But you know, you can't generally get managers' positions without doing the apprenticeship of the coaching, really, if you like. So yeah, it's something that I'm keen to get involved with in the future.
What's the situation with your badges? What have you done, and what are you planning to do next, if anything?
I've got my level 3, which is UEFA B. I'd like to get my A licence within the next 2 years, and I think that'll be enough really for the sort of levels and jobs that I'll be looking for. And you know, hopefully with my experience as a player, there might be an opening somewhere. Yeah. I've spoke to John Brough and Russell Milton about work at Cheltenham Centre of Excellence, There is a couple of openings there, but they just, until I get full-time employment, I don't want to jump in and commit myself to anything down there, but they've said the door's open down there for me to get involved as well.
Right. Just looking back at your playing days, just go through each club you played for briefly, and I mean, Nottingham Forest you started at, great club to start out. You didn't make the first team, but no. you had a bit of an experience with Brian Clough there, didn't you? And you know, what an amazing club to start your career at. Yeah,
I don't regret going there one little bit. Unfortunately, never made it into the first team, but it was a great schooling for me. It was a proper club, you know, that played football the right way. They passed the ball, and you know, I was sort of, as a 16-year-old, going into a club with, you know, the likes of Stuart Pearce and Roy Keane and Nigel Clough and Brian Clough, and just a real eye opener really. And but to learn from people like that every weekend, watching them was great for me, and I loved every minute. Richard Money and Steve Bigelow were reserve team coaches of mine up there, and I learnt a great deal from them, particularly Richard Money. He was excellent coach. And then I got a little bit sick towards the end of just being stuck in the reserves when I thought I was performing well enough to get a chance, and never did. So took the chance to go on loan to Lincoln and made that move permanent in the summer after a promotion, and had 4 good years there. The club struggled a little bit on and off the pitch really. Financially was the reason I ended up signing for Cheltenham, and then like I say, the time at Cheltenham was fantastic. You know, I just probably played my best football for the club. Steve Cottrell initially obviously signed me, and then working with, you know, Graham Allner, John Ward, Keith, some great people to work for, and you know, like I say, I just enjoyed every minute of it really.
Yeah, you're the only player to play in both playoff finals. I mean, you haven't been at the club long in the first one, had you? You sort of came in, played a few league games, suddenly you're playing at the Millennium Stadium and scoring, so that was a great start at Cheltenham for you.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of people when I got the chance to come to Cheltenham who were saying, don't do it, just stay where you are till the end of the season, you're on a free transfer. And but that season Lincoln were really struggling, and Cheltenham were in sort of 9th spot I think with 4 games in hand, something like that, and I saw it as a real chance to go in and get a promotion under my belt, and I sort of ignored the advice that I was given, and I'm glad really, and we never looked back. Like I say, within, I think it was my 15th game for the club, I was playing at Millennium, which was the biggest and best experience of my career at that point.
Yeah, and you had the other playoff final against Grimsby, which obviously lifted the trophy, which was a really great highlight. And what else stands out for you during the time at Cheltenham?
The 2 Millennium games always will. The Cup game, the Newcastle game live on TV, the 2 Wickham games. I can't really remember too much about the Hartlepool ones. They just, I don't know. I remember the penalty shootout, and I remember Lee Williams' screamer in the second leg to equalise, but the games just seem so far away at the minute now. I can't recall the games or the performances. I don't think they were particularly good, to be honest, but they got us through where we needed to go. Wickham was great again. It was all live on TV. Bit of a buzz around it. FA Cup final day, I think. Yeah. The first leg at Wickham, and you know, myself and my big mate Steve Guinan got the goals, and fortunately in the second leg, Duffo and Keynesy and the boys at the back held tight, and we managed to sneak through to the final again. Yeah,
what was it like playing at Cheltenham with Steve Guinan and Craig Armstrong? Because they were friends that you made at Forest, weren't they, as a youngster, and then you ended up back with them. Must have been good.
Yeah, it's strange how things have worked out really. That we all ended up at the club together, and we had a nice picture after the final at Grimsby with the trophy. That Craig spoilt a little bit with his hooter and his cup down his face, but. No, it was great for them boys to share that with them as well, because we all grew up together from sort of 14 years old at Forest really.
Yeah, and then you played a big part in Cheltenham staying up for the first time at that level, which was a great achievement. And then unfortunately it sort of went out on a bit of a low note because of your foot, wasn't it? The major problems with the foot.
Yeah, they're the only things I can look back on with disappointment really. Playing in League One was great. We had some really good players when you look back, and you know, a few have gone on to better things like Grant and Martin Devaney and people like that, although he was probably not there the second time he went up, was he?
No.
But you know, some of the lads, Brian Wilson, have gone on to bigger and better things, and but the squad that we had together was really close knit, really together, and I think possibly looking back at the time, I don't think we realised how talented some of the players that we had, because we were just such a unit and hard working squad. But no, I really look back with fond memories of them players and that time.
Yeah, it's a new era at Cheltenham Town now with Mark Yates in charge, and tell us a bit about him, because you played with him at Cheltenham, played under him at Kidderminster and worked closely with him there. What's he like as a manager, and are you sort of still following it closely, what he's doing at Cheltenham now?
Yeah, I've been down 2 or 3 games already this season, but he's the same as he was as a player really. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and he doesn't suffer fools really. He gets stuck into people if they're not doing the business for him or not giving the required effort. And I think he was a good appointment at the time. I think the lads will love him down there, I'm sure. The boys at Kiddie who've been playing under him for a couple of years, really, he really had their ear, and I was impressed with him and Neil, to be honest, when I went up there, and really enjoyed playing for him. So I wish them every success down at Cheltenham.
Yeah, and he's brought in a lot of players that you'll know either from Cheltenham or from Kidderminster, and players that he knew from before or have been on loan at Cheltenham before, and it seems to have created a good team spirit there, and it's sort of quite a young side, isn't it? And what do you make of the team at the moment?
I think they've done really well. They've had a really good start, and they can only get better because they're quite a young squad really. But yeah, he's brought in a lot of lads that he's known or used in the past, so he knew what he was going to get with them. Martin Riley's a real prospect, who's probably spent a little bit too long at Kidderminster in the end, and you could tell he was itching to get out and play at a higher level. Junior Brian Schmeichel, another one who's just a bundle of energy, and in League Two you need players like that who are going to be up and down, and he's got a never say die attitude. He'll never give up. He'll never he'll chase every ball, and I think he'll be a good asset for the club as well. Danny Andrew, Keith Lowe, players that he's used again in the past, and still at a good enough age to stay and hopefully build on the next few years for Cheltenham.
Yeah, and just finally, you said you spoke to John Brough and Russell Milton about Centre of Excellence. Is Cheltenham a club you'd love to come back to in some capacity if the situation's right?
Definitely. There's a lot of good people down there again. I think that's the good thing that Mark's built up again. He's brought in a lot of ex-players, not just ex-players, people who are good at their jobs and passionate about the game, but I think more importantly passionate about the club as well. And they all want Cheltenham Town to do well, and that's what everybody wants. So I really hope they can kick on and hopefully do some good things in the next 2 or 3 years.